welcome back to Becoming Better Together. I'm your host, Brie. Let's get started. All right, so today I want to talk about social media, and it can be such a blessing and also such a curse. But this is a gift that came out of it for me when I was scrolling TikTok just a few weeks ago. And I kept seeing the same thing over and over and over. And it was when I was talking about needing to clean part of my house out. And part of my house, it was in my actual office that I'm sitting in right now. There's one closet that has just, it's where everything has gone to die. It's where everything that I never unpacked went and sat in just piles and boxes and things that I have moved a lot in my life. I've moved to 5 or 6 or 7 different states at this point, and I didn't stay in that many places for that long, and so I never unpacked. And so these things kept coming with me and not being unpacked. And I had my Rolodex of excuses as to why it never happened. I didn't prioritize it. Maybe this will hit home for some of you. I didn't care. I was just a messy person. You know, I grew up as a messy teenager. And so I had this space that was holding all of this stuck energy. And it just wasn't a priority to me because it was behind closed doors. It's this big closet. It's my storage area. Who cares, right? And so I was scrolling on TikTok and I kept seeing something called a depression room over and over and over again. And usually TikTok has a different algorithm than everything else. It's pretty good at noticing when you linger on something. She puts attention there. Brie must be interested in this. This hits a chord somewhere in Brie, and it did. Holy cow, did it. So then I'm like, wait, what is a depression room? And I would see videos about it. And it started to hit home really hard. And so again, I have these stories, and we all do. So maybe this will be you. I have stories about the past, about who I think I am or who I was told I am. And so as a teenager, I was organized in school. I was a straight A student. I was socially, I had a social life. You know, from the outside, high functioning person. In my bedroom though, behind closed doors, totally different story. I was a hot mess. I would hide things, again, in closets where nobody could see it. My drawers were never organized. I was the queen of the junk drawers. That spilled over into college. That spilled over into adult life. And still, I'm the queen of the junk drawers. And I can be very organized with my time, but not my space that nobody else saw. So from the outside, everything would function. From the inside, I was just told, and I thought, and I just accepted, this is part of me. I am just a messy person. And some people are just messy, is what I thought. But deep, deep, deep down, turns out, the more I looked into this, it's actually a sign of some mental health that can manifest, and a depression room is born. Where basically, at some point, and this is something I've struggled with since I was a teenager, and I didn't understand it, and I buried it, and I wouldn't talk about it, and mental health didn't exist for me. Mental health didn't exist for my family. There was a lot of talk about, they're on medication now for something. And it was this big taboo, like, you don't want that. Oh my gosh, that must mean you're crazy. And so we didn't talk about depression. My family, it runs in my family, a lot of us suffer from it. However, taboo, we don't discuss it, right? And this is how I was raised. So sorry, Mom, for this, but it wasn't okay, right? So I just, again, accepted it as part of me and buried all of these feelings the way that I buried my mess, buried my boxes, buried all of that behind closed doors, because if nobody saw it, nobody knew about it. And then to me, it didn't exist. So the depression room. Turns out what happens here subconsciously is you let things pile up, right? Maybe you go through a phase, maybe this was you in college, and you were so busy doing everything else. You were studying for finals, you were studying for exams, that you started ordering food, and the food boxes started piling up. The dishes start piling up in the sink. But no one really sees this besides maybe you and your roommates, and they're going through the same thing. And it doesn't matter for a while, or you tell yourself. And then it gets so bad that you stop studying. You don't really want to do anything. It becomes the day that you just want to lay in bed for a while. And then you keep wanting to lay in bed. And then Netflix gets turned on. And then the studying stops, everything stops. And then one day you've just had enough. You look around, you can't handle it anymore. And there's one thing you can do to make yourself feel better. Clean. And just making your bed, tackling the pizza boxes that have piled up in the corner, just purging the house, making yourself feel better by cleaning. Suddenly you've conquered the world and you can get yourself moving forward again. It's a really easy thing for when we're feeling all of that creep in. Okay, but at least I can conquer this. At least I can clean. I can change this. And so this is what I would subconsciously do so that when I felt like everything else was spinning out of control, guess what I could control? I could control the dishes in the sink. I could control what was in my closet. I could control doing the laundry that had piled up on the famous chair where girls, I swear to God, we all have this chair. We try on a bunch of outfits, none of them work, so we put them on the chair. Instead of putting them back in the closet, we throw them on the chair, right? If you have the chair, you are me. I have the chair. So when everything else is out of control, when the mental health is coming down, but you don't want to admit it, and you don't know why, you have no energy, you don't want to get out of bed, suddenly cleaning, now I feel like I've conquered the world because I've done something. And then it can be that spark that can move you forward. And so it was just something that subconsciously I would let get out of control so that when I was out of control, I would have something to go ahead and move myself past and move myself forward. And when I was reading about this and why this happens and why so many teens go through this, holy cow, it hit me like a ton of bricks. That's exactly what was happening. And again, I accepted this just as, this is just who I am. This is who I am. This is part of me. I am messy. But what was really happening is it was part of my mental health coming through, even in adult life, that I had thought I had let go of. I thought I had released this. And that one closet, that one area was still holding on to this old identity, holding and clinging on to it. And my excuses were piling high. It's because I work so much. It's because it doesn't matter because it's in boxes. Like the pizza boxes are gone. Like that hasn't piled up in a long time. Once I really understood mindset and mental health and depression, and I was able to admit it, and I was ready to ask for help. Like once I understood and worked through a lot of this, those pizza boxes, that hasn't been an issue. So in my mind, this was gone. The closet is where all of it was still stuck. All right, so today, this is your opportunity to learn from this. And today is a chance to go on the Great Purge because we change throughout our lives, but sometimes we hold on to things that keep us in the past, that keep us stuck in an old identity. And this is exactly what I was doing without even realizing it. I was holding on to teenage Brie, who was a hot mess under her bed and in her closet. I was holding on to college Brie, who again had everything together until everything felt like it was out of control, but I could at least clean my house. And so I was holding on to all of this negative emotion, and I had no idea I was doing it. And so I went on the Great Purge. Once I read about this, once I realized it, and I got my mind blown open. And let me tell you, the amount of energy, the amount of emotions I have released since, night and day, how I feel. Is it completely done? Am I perfect? And I'm now this crazy, organized, amazingly clean person? No, not at all. But understanding why I was holding on to these things and understanding that working through it and letting them go can release so much of my past and say, I am not this person anymore, nor do I have to be. This doesn't have to define you forever. If you were told you were one thing, that doesn't mean you are this way forever. We can choose and we can change, right? And so today, this is your opportunity to do your own purge. And so 2 questions as I was going through old possessions, as I was going through the boxes of clothes, really helped me. And so I want to give these to you. And my challenge is think of where you are holding on to things from the past. Where do you have stuck energy that probably needs to go because it's not serving you anymore? And maybe you have the Rolodex of excuses. Oh, it's because I'm so busy. Oh, it's because my kids might need this in the future. Oh, it's because whatever. Let's go through these excuses. Let's blow them up because I bet they are not serving you anymore. And I bet you have some stuck energy that once you release it, once you let it go, you can feel like a whole new person. And you can feel like you don't have to hold on to the mess anymore. It doesn't have to define you. You can really move through it into something new. And organization, it is a gift, my friends. It is a gift because now I look around and I can see everything in my closet and things are hung up and there's no chair full of clothes and like everything. It's an energetic shift like never before. And again, I didn't realize I was holding on to this and for reasons that were not serving me. So use these 2 questions now to move yourself forward and go on the Great Purge. The first thing, go through that junk drawer, go through that closet that has never been organized. Find that space, and you know it right now as I'm talking to you. You're like, oh yeah, that's where my energy is definitely being held. That's where I'm feeling stuck, and it's time to let it go. So as you're going through things, what I want you to think first is, one, does this object, item, clothing, whatever, does this serve me where I'm heading? Ask yourself that, and use the Marie Kondo method, and you can actually look at things and decide if you want to thank them and let them go, or if they spark some kind of joy in you, keep them, right? And so that was a really good scale for me to understand, two, the emotional scale. So one, does this serve me where I'm heading? So is this something that is serving the person that I truly am and want to become, or is it keeping me rooted and stuck in the past? And a lot of these things I realized were keeping me rooted and stuck in the past. And so asking the second question, what emotion is this giving me? Is this giving me a spark of joy? Is that why I want to keep it? Is it giving me joy, or am I leading with fear? Am I leading with regret? Does it bring up those feelings of, but what if I need this? And right there, it was a huge red flag that came up in my awareness to lack. I was leading from lack. I was holding on to a lot of this because what if? What if I lose everything? What if I need this? What if I need this old Halloween costume from college because I need to go to a costume party and somehow I am broke and destitute and I don't have any friends and I can't borrow costumes and I have to wear this one to fit into society? This is like, these are the stories that were going on in my head that are ridiculous, right? And so if you could ask those two questions, does this serve me where I'm heading? Does this serve the person I am now and who I honestly want to become and can? Or is it something rooted in the past that I'm holding on to because I'm scared? Because I have an old memory, it gives me guilt to give it away. And then two, where does it land on the emotional scale? Does it spark joy in me? Like the Marie Kondo, is it something that honestly just, it brings me good energy, it makes me happy? Or is it something that I'm holding on to because I'm afraid, because I'm guilty, because there's some kind of shame attached to it? There's a memory that I don't want to let go because what if I forget, right? And so if you're down there in the negative energy from it and you have the what if questions coming up, it's probably an item you need to release. You need to make peace with it, thank it, find gratitude as you let these things flow out of your life. Find gratitude, find those higher emotions, make peace with it and let them go. So this is your opportunity. Do what I did. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. It's crazy. And again, it's not even perfect yet, but night and day difference for my energy and my own awareness of why I was holding on to things and the amount of fear and lack that was coming up by just keeping these things in my life and stuck because it was rooting me in the past. So if this hits home for you today, please go on the Great Purge. Even if it's just a small area right now, like your junk drawer, like just cleaning out the desk and the area around you where you're like, I have so many papers, I don't need them, but I'm afraid. This was me too. I would hold on to past notes because what if I needed the information? What if I needed the knowledge? Because somehow in my mind, I wasn't enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wouldn't be wise enough. I needed to hold on to this just in case. So where is that just in case stuff that you need to let go of because you're holding on to and you can feel so much more free? That's what I got for you today. Go right now and just go run it through your house and purge the energy that is not, it's not serving you anymore, right? And if you understand a little bit of the mental health struggle of that depression room and you're going, wow, that was me, or that is me, or maybe it's your teenagers right now, be patient with them. Understand why they might be holding on to some of this. Understand why some of those food items stack up. And it seems gross, like it was gross. I'm gonna be honest, when I had pizza boxes stacking up, that was gross. But it was something I could control. And it made so much sense looking back why that was happening and why I also didn't understand it. Raising your understanding, you can understand your kids more, you can understand your teens more, you can understand yourself more. Instead of hiding from it and being like, no, this doesn't exist in my life. That was me. Don't be me. That's what I got for you guys today. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you as always, and I will see you next time.